Okay, speak to you later. Cell phone, mobile, smartphone, call it what you want, but this one piece of electronic equipment is perceived to have been the one thing that has completely destroyed this town of Pattaya. And of course, me being me, when I'm sitting in my bar arguing the case, I've always got a few reasons why I don't think that's true. So, has the smartphone destroyed Pattaya? Let's take a look. So we're here in Pattaya and it's 2023. Go back 10, 15 years ago, before the age of the mobile phone, the girls were coming to work and they'd be hanging around sometimes for hours and hours before a customer would even come in. They get bored, but there's nothing they could really do about it. The mobile phone, it could be argued, has changed all of that. And the number one reason that I think that the cell phone has changed things is the fact that it is more difficult now to get girls in the bar. It's a recruitment issue that's been going on for some time. During the pandemic, there were girls that were trying very, very hard to get away from this scene and were doing other things like setting up mama and pop shops, doing nail salons and hair salons and that sort of thing. But now the time has come for them to return back into Pattaya. A lot of them don't want to go into the bar scene simply because there are apps like Thai Friendly, Tinder, dating apps, and even for the more racier and confident girls, things like OnlyFans. Do they really need, with all that information and all those potential customers at their fingertips, do they really need to go back and work in a bar? We all know you used to walk down the soy 15 years ago and you were a handsome man and the girls were trying to pull you into the bar, and now you walk down the same soy, maybe you're not handsome anymore, but the girls are just playing on their mobile phones. I do have guys telling me that they just want to look at their screens, that they're not that interested in us, but I do seem to remember, and maybe you do as well, the times before cell phones that the girls were always interested in other things. How many times have you took a little friend back to your hotel or room and the first thing she's done is turned on the TV, and whilst you're trying to get amorous, sticking on your Barry White CD or whatever, and she's more interested in a Thai soap opera or whatever that's taking place on the television. The thing I remember about the girls back in the day when it was all better is the girls were really into books. Yes, books, remember books? So there were comic books, and how about books on translation into English? Now the girls just use Google Translate or other translation services. But in the old days, the girls actually used to be able to translate in their own head. I've got a great story to tell you, and it's one that I saw on the Stickman website, so I'll credit Stickman for this. And it didn't happen here in Pattaya, but it happened in Bangkok. And there was a girl who was a bar girl working in one of the Nana Gogos, and she got a phone call. This was pre-mobile phone. You could phone the bar, more about that later. And it was her mom, and he says, your boyfriend who's sponsoring you has just called the village and asked if you can speak to you. Are you available? And I've said, oh no, sorry, you're not. You're just feeding the chickens or gone to plant some rice or something. But you're calling back in a few hours. Oh no, this sponsor was sending this girl thousands and thousands of baht. What could she do? Well, what she did was she got a taxi. She went all the way back to her village in Isan and waited by the phone. And about 10 minutes later, the phone went, picked the phone up in the village. Hi, darling, tirak, jub jub, kitung, have you eaten yet? The usual language. Soon as he'd gone, put the phone down, got the taxi back to Bangkok. It's a true story. And that's one of the things that I think is a real positive about mobile phones, cell phones, and that is the fact that you're able to contact your friends, your little friends, the staff in the bars a lot easier now that mobile phones have gone cableless. These cell phone towers are dotted around all over the country now, and 5G's coming. If you notice, if you go on the main motorway between Suvarnabhumi and Pattaya, the number 7 motorway, every 30 or 40 metres you're getting a 5G mast, and that can actually work in your favour sometimes. I actually heard of a guy that used one of these. No, not a bunch of keys, but an Apple AirTag, and I think they're available on Android as well. He had a suspicion that maybe his girlfriend was cheating on him and seeing other guys behind his back. He was actually lived here in Pattaya, and he had this girlfriend, but she kept on going off to the shops, going down the beach with her friends, and he was beginning to get a little bit suspicious. So what he did is he got one of the AirTags and he put it in her motorbike. He could then log onto his phone and actually watch as a little dot was going along the screen to find out where his tea rack actually was. Well, it turned out that her trips to Macro and the beach were not actually trips to Macro and the beach. Yes, she was going to hotels and she was meeting other guys. Now, 2 things. First of all, can I just say that tagging your girlfriend or following people, stalking people is highly illegal. So I'm not suggesting that you do that. And the other thing is, of course, is that there are messages that come up that the mobile operators have put there to hopefully stop that thing happening. But it does happen. And I know of guys that have even scotch taped mobile phones to the bottom of girls' cars so that they can follow where they are when they're in another country. It's worrying. Big Brother is there. These antennas that you can see, could they be working in your favour or against you? Oh, that's a great photo opportunity. Lovely. And photographs is one of the things that are good about mobile phones, because when something like that happens, you see a nice bit of nature here in Pattaya, you can take a photo. Or how about this beautiful Ballyhigh Pier, the view from Ballyhigh Pier? It's lovely. We used to take photographs back in the day before mobile phones, but of course they would be on film, and one of the things that you had to do was get that film published when you went back to the UK or wherever you're from. Now, that's fine if all the pictures of nice birds, the feathered variety, and beautiful landscapes like this. How about if your photographs were a little bit naughtier? And I remember back in, I think, 94 and 95, my friend Ray showing me his photograph collection from Pattaya, which included pictures of girls in the shower and other sorts of photographs. It was called the Walk of Shame. Yes, you had your holiday in Sin City and then you had to go to Boots the Chemist or wherever it was and get the photos developed. It could be a little bit embarrassing, especially if there was sensitive material on there. So the Walk of Shame is no more with the advent of the mobile phone. And I have to say, the picture quality on those cameras is far better than what we got back in a real camera 20 years ago. The smartphone can be a bit of a fashion accessory as well. There's pressure on the girls in the bar to have the very latest smartphone. It gets them tremendous face if they've got a brand spanking new iPhone 14 in comparison to, I don't know, an iPhone 6 that's all chipped or something like that. The pressure is on for the girls to get a phone, and who's going to be buying her that smartphone? Hello, it's you. I'm reminded of a great story actually that a friend told me about a girl that he met in one of the bars, the very first bar that I ever worked in actually, which was Electric Blue on Walking Street. He met the love of his life on the stage at Electric Blue, and they became friends. They obviously started seeing each other, and it became quite a serious relationship. There was only one problem. He had to go back to England. So off he travelled, but he had a cunning plan, and that was he was going to pay this girl a large sum of money to leave the bar and then go back up to Isan and go back to the farm. The girl agreed to this, and she said that was no problem. The love was mutual, that they would remain girlfriend and boyfriend even though he was 6,000 miles away. I think you know where this story's going, don't you? So, every now and then, every other day, my friend used to call her up, and she used to pick up the phone and they'd chat, and the talk was a little bit boring, you know, have you eaten yet, all those sort of questions. But he used to hear the background of the environment that she was in. Don't forget, this was before video calling, and he could hear the sound of agricultural workers, maybe even a cock crowing in the distance. He was quite satisfied that she had gone back and she was waiting for him to return to Thailand in her village. One day there was a slightly different scenario. He phoned her up and there was the usual patter between the two lovers, but there was a strange sound in the background. What was that? It sounded very much like the bell on a BART bus, you know, the one you're supposed to press so that the BART bus stops. And said, hold on a minute, isn't that the sound of a BART bus? Are you back in Pattaya? And she had to confess that yes, she had gone back. Of course, if it was 2023 and you had video calling like you get on modern smartphones, he could have saved himself a lot of money. Rather like this roundabout, we seem to be going round and round and round. Are mobile phones good, or have they destroyed Pattaya? Actually, one of the great things about having a cell phone is access to online communities such as my Discord group, Facebook, and of course, YouTube. And what I really want to know is what you think. What do you think about the introduction of smartphones here in Thailand? Has the horse bolted and it's never going back to the old days, or have they been a positive thing? Let me know. I really want to know what you think in the comments down below. I'm Mr. Egg, stuck in the middle of a roundabout here in Pattaya. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to visit my bar, Le Pub on Soy Diamond, and also Milk, which is next door. But for now, Mr. Egg, over and out.